Hello, this is Mike. Welcome to another episode of 5 Minute Mythologies. So I just cracked open an Elliott Ness Amber Lager from Great Lakes Brewing Company, and it got me thinking about Prohibition, which leads us to 1920s, 1930s Chicago. The iconic jazz age, fueled by jazz music, brass bands, ballrooms, and ghosts. And it's in one of these steamy 1920s classic ballrooms where our story begins. So let's go there now. Imagine you walk into this elegant Art Deco style ballroom. Brassy tunes fill the air, along with the dull roar of the crowd who are dancing away to the latest crazes of the Charleston, the Black Bottom, and the Shimmy. As you approach the stage where the brass band plays, you notice the faint scent of reefer in the air. You think nothing about it as you turn back towards the dance floor. You know this party's gonna go on all night. The whole ballroom is a sea of beautiful young flapper girls and their beaux all dressed to the nines, and you feel like you are in some kind of a dream. Of course, throughout the night, you keep getting these faint glimpses. You never see her spot on, but it's always in the corner of your eye, of this beautiful young 20-something flapper girl. She has the classic iconic dark bobbed hair, wearing an extravagant flapper dress. She's just having the time of her life. So time passes, it's about midnight, and you're standing out at the front entrance of the dance hall having a smoke with some of the guys, when that same flapper girl brushes by you with her beau as she climbs into her beau's car, and they both speed away into the cold, rainy Chicago night. This isn't the first time she's been to this dance hall, nor will it be her last, for she is here nearly every night. So as this car is driving down 1800 South Harlem Avenue, we pass by the Jewish Waldheim Cemetery in suburban Forest Park. This is where our young flapper girl requests to be dropped off. Her beau is kind of confused as to why she wants to be dropped off at a cemetery. However, she says that she actually lives in the groundskeeper's house at the cemetery, and she's fine with just walking the rest of the way. So they stop the car. Her love-struck beau insists on walking her to the house. However, she takes off, running through the cemetery, where she disappears amongst the tombstones. He becomes the latest in a long line of men who see and give a ride home to the infamous Waldheim Flapper. And she is one of several Vanishing Hitchhiker stories that we hear and see from Chicago. Another famous one being Resurrection Mary, but we'll save that for another episode. So this urban legend kind of starts in the 30s, pre-World War II, and it's often reported that she would make appearances at the Melody Mill Ballroom, where she would dance with young men and often ask for a ride home. As they drive to the cemetery, obviously she vanishes or disappears, which is obviously the whole point of these vanishing hitchhiker ghost stories or urban legends. And considering what we know about urban legends, there's always the possibility of some truth within this one as well. There is a story, I don't know if it's true or not, that there was a young Jewish girl who was a regular at the Melody Mill Ballroom who died of peritonitis at a very young age. A lot of people speculate that she died of this while on her way home from the ballroom, and she is buried in the Jewish Waldheim Cemetery. And shortly after her passing, staff members at the Melody Mill Ballroom claim to have seen her and claim to have seen her pick up young men and ask them for rides home, thus driving this urban legend to its fruition. Of course, in the end, if this is her accepted point of origin, if this ballroom is the point of origin of this myth, we can only assume that her restless spirit returns to spend her nights amongst the living in the place that she loved most in life, which I think is a comforting idea when it comes to many of these ghost stories. And of course, sightings of her and these stories generally go on well into the 70s, all the way up until 1985, when reports of this story kind of fizzle out, which is kind of strange because that was the year when the iconic ballroom was torn down. And a lot of people believe that with the destruction of her favorite haunt, pun totally intended, that her restless spirit was actually finally able to move on to that next plane of existence, whatever it may be. Personally, I think she's still dancing every night to this day. on some distant plane in some 1930s iconic ballroom at a jazz party that never ends. Once again, this is Mike with 5 Minute Mythologies. I've been wanting to do a classic ghost story like this for a while, and I finally got around to it. So tell me what you think, leave me some feedback, reach out to me personally, whatever. And if you like what I'm doing, just do me a solid and tell a friend or share it with a friend or whatever. Any help on that front is appreciated. Join me back here every Tuesday for 5 Minute Mythologies and every other Thursday for Urban Legends and Conspiracies. On that note, thank you for listening.